The alien ship floated quietly in the vast blackness of space. The stars around twinkled softly like distant lights on a faraway shore, but one planet caught the aliens' attention, Earth, a blue and green jewel, shining quietly among the stars. The aliens' eyes, sharp and curious, studied the planet carefully. Something felt strange here, something unseen, but deeply powerful. The stars nearby seemed to flicker in a way the alien had never noticed before. A soft hum filled the space around the ship, as if the planet itself was sending a secret message. Suddenly, breaking the quiet, came a signal unlike anything the alien had ever heard before. It was clear, strong, and filled with a strange rhythm that made the alien's mind race. The alien, an explorer by nature, knew this was not a normal signal. It was a call, a challenge, or maybe a warning. Something was stirring on Earth, something that called for attention. The alien's mission was simple at first: observe, quietly learn what this new world had to offer. But now the mission had changed. It was time to get closer to the planet, to discover what lay beneath its calm surface. With steady hands, the alien guided the ship toward Earth, moving slowly through the cold emptiness. The closer the ship came, the more the alien could see. From above, the world looked peaceful. The ocean sparkled under the sun, and the forest stretched wide and green. But signs of movement caught the aliens' eye. Strange formations of machines and groups of humans moved in patterns. The humans were dressed in strange clothes and carried tools that looked like weapons. The alien noticed the humans did not shout or run. Instead, they moved with a strange kind of silence, as if they were waiting for something big. The aliens' thoughts swirled with questions. What were the humans preparing for? Why did they move like soldiers ready for war? The ship passed over cities where lights flickered like stars on the ground, but the lights seemed tense, not welcoming. It was as if the whole planet was holding its breath. The alien had heard stories about humans from other explorers. They were said to be brave and clever, but also unpredictable and sometimes very dangerous. Could this be true? What made humans so different from other beings in the universe? As the ship moved lower, the alien could see the signs of readiness everywhere. In the forest, there were camps hidden among the trees. In the cities, there were strong walls and tall towers. The alien felt a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. The mission was no longer simple. It was becoming a journey into the unknown, a search for the truth about humanity and its power. The ship began to descend slowly toward a quiet place on the edge of a large city. The night was dark, but the sky was clear, and the stars shone brightly. The alien's hands moved carefully over the controls, making sure the ship would land softly, without making noise. The air inside the ship was still, but outside the world felt alive with silent energy. The alien looked out the window and saw the trees moving gently in the night breeze. Suddenly, a shadow slipped through the dark between the trees. The alien's eyes widened, watching the shadow disappear. As quickly as it came, the shadow was fast, quiet, and careful. Like a hunter moving through the forest, the alien felt a chill run through its body. Who or what was this shadow? Was it a threat or a sign that the alien was not alone on this planet? Taking a deep breath, the alien stepped out of the ship into the cool night. The ground beneath felt solid and real. The air smelled fresh, but carried a sharpness like before a storm. The alien's senses were alert. Every sound, every movement was noticed. The leaves rustled softly, the wind whispered through the branches, and in the distance the city lights blinked faintly. The forest around the alien seemed full of secret shadows, stretched long and twisted in the moonlight like dark fingers reaching out. The alien felt small and vulnerable, but also filled with wonder. This place was beautiful, but also dangerous, full of unknown powers and hidden dangers. The alien moved carefully, but its mind raced with questions. What were humans hiding? What was this dark power that others in the universe whispered about? Suddenly, a low sound broke the silence. It was a rumble, soft but close like distant thunder. The ground trembled slightly beneath the alien's feet. The sound grew louder, and the alien's heart began to beat faster. Something large was moving nearby, something alive and powerful. The quiet night was no longer peaceful. It was the beginning of something new, something the alien could not yet understand. The alien stopped and looked up at the stars once more, but now they seemed cold and far away. Earth had pulled the alien deep into its own mystery, a mystery of strength, fear, and hope all tangled together. The alien did not know what it would find, but it knew one thing for sure: this was the day it would see humanity's darkest power up close, and nothing would ever be the same again. The shadow returned, this time closer and clearer. The alien could see eyes glowing faintly in the dark, watching, waiting. The alien held its breath and waited too, for the next moment would change everything, and there was no way back now. The alien stayed very still in the dark forest, the cold air wrapping around its body like a quiet warning. The glowing eyes in the shadows did not move away. Instead, they blinked slowly, as if watching carefully, waiting to learn what the alien would do next. The silence stretched long and thick, and every small sound seemed loud. The alien's heartbeat in its chest, a slow rhythm of fear and curiosity mixed together. The forest was alive and full of secrets. Secrets the alien was about to uncover. Suddenly, the glowing eyes vanished, and the alien felt the weight of the night press even harder. The trees whispered softly in the wind, telling stories the alien could almost understand, but not quite. The distant lights of the city blinked through the branches, but they looked different now, like the city was hiding something dark. And deep the alien's mind raced, thinking about what it had seen earlier: the strange movements of humans, the hidden camps, and the quiet readiness. It all pointed to one thing, something bigger than a simple war, something that held a terrifying power inside. The alien moved carefully through the forest, following a faint path hidden beneath the leaves. Each step was slow and soft, but every sound echoed in the stillness. The alien's senses were sharp, picking up on things humans might miss: the smell of smoke far away, the faint sound of voices whispering like ghosts, and the rhythm of footsteps that did not belong to the alien. These signs told a story of struggle and preparation, a story of fear mixed with hope. As the alien walked closer to the city, the sounds grew stronger, the voices became clearer, but still quiet and urgent. The alien hid behind a tree and watched a group of humans gathered around a fire. Their faces were serious and tired, but their eyes shone with fierce determination. They spoke in low tones about battles lost and victories won, about friends gone and enemies near. The alien could feel their pain and strength like a living thing burning in the night. One of the humans stood and raised a hand, calling the group to silence. The alien watched as the human spoke with a voice that was both calm and powerful. It told of a coming attack, a force unlike anything the humans had faced before, a force that could destroy everything if they were not ready. The alien listened closely, realizing this was the moment where fear met courage, where hope was the only weapon left in the dark. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the quiet. It was not far away, a sharp crack like a gunshot or an explosion. The humans jumped to their feet, ready for battle. Their faces changed in an instant, from tired to fierce, like warriors waking from a long sleep. The alien felt a surge of something strong and wild inside. Watching humans transform before its eyes, the calm it had seen earlier was only a mask hiding a storm waiting to break. The alien decided to move closer. Slipping silently between the trees, it reached the edge of a clearing, where it saw something that took its breath away. A group of humans stood with weapons raised, waiting for the enemy to appear. Their eyes were full of fire and pain, but also something else, something deeper. The alien wondered what gave them this strength. What was the source of this dark power that made them ready to fight, even when all hope seemed lost? Suddenly, the sky lit up with a bright flash, and the ground shook violently. The alien was thrown to the earth, and dust filled the air. When it looked up, it saw ships flying overhead, dropping strange, glowing bombs. The humans did not run. Instead, they charged forward, screaming a battle cry that echoed through the forest. It was a sound filled with anger and fear, but also with unbreakable will. The alien watched in amazement as humans fought with skill and fury. Their movements were fast and deadly, like a dance of death. Each strike was precise and filled with purpose. The enemy was strong and cruel, but the humans refused to give up. Their dark power burned bright in the chaos like a flame that would not be put out. In the middle of the battle, the alien saw a human leader step forward, a tall figure with eyes blazing like fire and a voice that cut through the noise. The leader raised a hand, and suddenly the air around seemed to change. The ground trembled, and a strange energy flowed from the leader like a wave of shadow and light. The alien felt a cold fear mixed with awe as this dark power revealed itself in all its terrible beauty. The enemy faltered as the humans unleashed this hidden strength. The dark power seemed alive, full of rage and pain, but also with a strange hope. The alien watched as weapons cracked and soldiers fell. But the humans kept pushing forward. Their faces were marked with pain, but their eyes held a light that would not die. The alien realized this was not just a fight for survival, but a battle for something greater, a fight for the soul of humanity itself. As the battle raged, the alien's thoughts drifted to its own world, and its own people. The universe was full of beings who feared this kind of power, who did not understand the cost or the strength it took to hold it. The alien wondered if humans truly knew what they carried inside, if they understood the price of their darkest power, and if they could control it before it consumed them all. The sky grew darker, and the fight became more desperate. The aliens saw friends fall and enemies roar with hatred, but still the humans did not stop. The leader's dark power spread like a storm, shaking the earth and breaking the enemies. With the alien felt a strange respect growing inside it for these strange creatures who fought with everything they had, not just for themselves, but for each other, for a future they barely understood. When the battle finally ended, the alien moved closer to the fallen leader. The human lay on the ground, breathing hard, eyes closed, but still shining with that fierce light. The alien reached out a hand, feeling the dark power pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the skin. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time, a force that could save or destroy, and the alien knew the story of humanity was far from over. The alien looked up at the night sky once again, but this time the stars seemed different. They were no longer distant cold points of light, but witnesses to a new chapter in the universe, a chapter where humans showed a power no one expected and a courage no one could forget. The alien's journey had only just begun, and the days ahead would test everything it thought it knew about fear, hope, and the true meaning of power. Ask ChatGPT. The night air was thick with tension as the aliens stood at the edge of the battlefield. The silence after the storm of battle was strange and heavy. The aliens' eyes searched the horizon, where fires still burned faintly in the distance. The smell of smoke and burnt earth filled the air, but beneath it all was something deeper, something alive and raw. The humans were gathering their strength once again, but something had changed in them, something the alien could feel pulsing. In the dark, the alien moved carefully through the ruins of the small village where the fight had been fiercest. Broken walls and shattered trees told the story of a violent clash, but the humans moved with purpose. They helped each other, carried the wounded, and whispered prayers that carried hope more than despair. The alien watched this strange mix of pain and strength and wondered how such creatures could survive so much and still fight on. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the quiet. The alien ducked behind a fallen tree and saw a group of humans running toward a nearby hill. Their faces were serious, but their eyes burned with a fierce determination. The alien followed, silently curious about what drew them to this place. So quickly and urgently, the hill looked ordinary at first, but as the humans reached the top, the alien noticed something unusual hidden beneath the grass. There was a large circular shape cut into the earth, a kind of platform or altar. The humans gathered around it and began to chant in a low, steady rhythm. Their voices rose and fell like waves on a stormy sea. The alien felt a strange vibration in the air, as if the ground itself was listening to their song. The chanting seemed to call something from deep inside the planet, or perhaps from far beyond the stars. The alien watched with wide eyes as the center of the circle began to glow with a dark, pulsing light. The humans moved closer together and raised their hands toward the sky. The energy in the air thickened, and the alien could see shadows twisting and swirling around the group like living smoke. It was a power unlike anything the alien had ever encountered, fierce and ancient, but also full of pain and hope. A human stepped forward from the group, a young woman with eyes that shone like stars. Her voice rose above the chanting. As she spoke words the alien could not understand, but felt deeply. The light grew brighter, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. The alien realized this was the dark power of humanity in action, the source of their strength and their curse all at once. Suddenly, the sky above them exploded with light and sound. Ships appeared from the darkness, slicing through the clouds with speed and fury. The enemy had returned with even greater force. Their weapons fired beams of energy that cut through the night like lightning. The humans on the hill did not flinch. Instead, they raised their hands higher and the dark light from the circle spread out like a shield surrounding them with an invisible barrier. The alien watched in awe as the humans fought back with this power. It was not just technology or weapons, but something deeper, something born from their very souls. The dark energy twisted and turned like a living thing, striking at the enemy and protecting the humans. All at once, the alien could feel the fierce will and pain behind the power, and knew this was why humans were feared and respected across the stars. As the battle raged, the alien saw the young woman in the center struggle to keep the power under control. Sweat poured down her face and her body shook, but her eyes never lost their fierce light. The dark energy around her twisted wildly, sometimes threatening to break free and consume everything. The alien felt a pang of fear, wondering if this power could destroy its own people as easily as the enemy. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the enemy lines, and a huge creature charged toward the hill. The humans braced themselves, but the alien saw the young woman close her eyes and focus deeply. The dark light from the circle flared up and shot forward in a blast that stopped the creature in its tracks. The beast fell to the ground, and the enemy forces hesitated for a moment, caught off guard by the humans' fierce defense. The alien took a step forward, amazed by what it was witnessing. This was no ordinary battle. This was a struggle between hope and despair, between light and darkness, between survival and destruction. The humans were fighting not just for their lives, but for something greater, something that could change the fate of many worlds. As the enemy retreated, the humans gathered around the young woman, supporting her and singing soft songs of healing and strength. The alien felt a deep respect growing inside for these brave beings who faced so much pain and fear, yet held on to their will to survive. The dark power they wielded was dangerous and terrible, but it was also a symbol of their unbreakable spirit. The alien knew this was only the beginning of a long and difficult journey. The days ahead would bring more battles, more pain, and more moments where the darkest power of humanity would be tested. But the alien was ready to learn more, to see the truth behind the stories, and to understand what made humans both feared and admired in the great universe. The stars above twinkled quietly, as if watching over the earth, and its people. The alien looked up and felt a strange connection to the tiny blue planet below. It was a world full of darkness and light, fear and hope, destruction and rebirth. The alien's mission had changed from observer to witness, to part a story far greater than it had ever imagined. With one last look at the hill and the glowing circle, the alien turned away, ready to face whatever came next, ready to see the day when humanity's darkest power would be revealed in all its terrible glory and shining hope. Ask ChatGPT. The air was heavy and thick with tension as the alien crept closer to the heart of the battle. The sky was dark with swirling clouds and flashes of light that painted the world in shades of fire and shadow. The alien's eyes were wide and alert, watching the humans as they moved with fierce determination and strange power. Something ancient and terrifying stirred in the air, and the alien felt its breath catch in its throat. The moment it had waited for was finally here, the day it would see humanity's darkest power revealed in all its terrible glory. The humans gathered in a circle deep within the ruins of an old city. Their faces were marked with dirt and sweat, but their eyes burned with a fire that refused to be quenched. At the center stood a figure unlike any the alien had seen before, tall and strong, with a presence that seemed to command the very air around them. The figure raised a hand, and the world seemed to hold its breath. The alien felt a pulse run through the ground like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the figure spoke words in a language the alien could not understand, but the meaning was clear. The air grew thick, and dark shadows began to rise from the earth, swirling around the humans like living smoke. The alien watched in awe and fear as the power grew stronger. The shadows twisting and turning until they formed shapes, fierce and terrible shapes that seemed to reach out toward the enemy, waiting just beyond the city's edge. The alien's heart pounded as the shadows moved like waves crashing against the enemy forces. The dark power surged forward, consuming everything in its path. It was both beautiful and horrifying, like a storm born from pain and rage. The humans fought not just with weapons, but with this strange force that seemed to flow from their very souls. The alien realized that this was the power that had made humans feared and respected across many worlds. The battle erupted once more, but this time the humans were different. Their movements were faster, sharper, and filled with an almost supernatural strength. The dark shadows danced around them, protecting and attacking in perfect harmony. The alien saw weapons shatter and enemies fall as the humans unleashed this terrible force. With a terrible grace, the air was alive with energy and the sound of war cries that shook the very ground. In the center of the chaos, the leader of the humans stood tall, eyes blazing with fierce light. The alien saw the leader's face twist with pain and determination as the dark power consumed more of their body and mind. It was clear this power came at a great cost, and yet the leader would not falter. The alien felt a deep sadness mixed with awe, knowing that this gift was also a curse, a burden carried for the survival of their kind. The enemy pressed forward, desperate to break through the human defenses, but the dark power held strong like a living wall. The shadows seemed to grow with every strike, absorbing the enemy's fury and turning it back against them. The alien could feel the weight of the battle pressing down on the land and on the souls of those fighting. It was a war not just of weapons, but of wills and hearts. Suddenly, the leader raised their hand high, and a wave of dark energy burst forth, sweeping across the battlefield. The enemy forces were thrown back as if caught in a violent storm. The alien watched as the dark power tore through the enemy lines, destroying everything in its path, but also leaving scars on the humans who wielded it. The leader collapsed to their knees, breathing hard, eyes closed, but still glowing with fierce light. The alien approached, slowly feeling the pulse of power beneath the leader's skin. It was like touching a living flame, wild and unpredictable, but also warm and full of life. The alien wondered how the humans controlled such a force, how they bore the pain and the weight of it without breaking. It was a strength beyond anything the alien had ever known, a strength born of fear, hope, and sacrifice. As the battle faded, the humans gathered around their fallen leader, singing soft songs of healing and courage. The alien could feel the deep bond between these warriors, a bond forged in fire and blood. The dark power they carried was a part of them, a part that both saved and threatened to destroy them. It was a delicate balance, a dance on the edge of darkness and light. The alien looked up at the stars, shining cold and distant above, but now they seemed closer somehow, as if watching over the earth and its people. The alien knew this was only the beginning of a long and difficult journey ahead. The days to come would test everything humans and aliens alike believed about power, fear, and survival. The story of humanity was far from over, and the alien was ready to witness it all. With a final look at the battlefield, the alien stepped back into the shadows, ready to face whatever came next, ready to see the true face of humanity's darkest power and the light that still burned within. Asked ChatGPT. The night was thick with silence, and the air heavy with the smell of smoke and earth. The alien stood at the edge of the battlefield, watching as humans moved quietly among the ruins. Their faces were tired, but filled with something strong, a fierce determination that refused to fade. The dark power they carried was still alive in their eyes, but now the aliens saw the cost. It had taken. The power that saved them also brought a heavy price, and that price was written deep in their souls. The alien moved slowly through the broken streets, careful not to disturb the fragile peace. The ground was scarred with marks of battle, but the humans walked with purpose, helping each other, carrying the wounded, and whispering words of comfort. It was a scene both beautiful and sad, a reminder of the cost of war and the strength needed to survive. The alien wondered if the humans knew how close they were to losing everything, how close their darkest power had brought them to the edge of destruction. In the center of the ruined city, the alien found the human leader, sitting alone, eyes closed and body still, but breathing steady. The dark power that had burned so bright was now a faint glow, flickering like a dying flame. The alien watched silently, sensing the weight of the burden. The leader carried the power that had saved their people, also tore at their mind and spirit, leaving scars that would not heal easily. The alien felt a deep sadness knowing this was the true cost of the dark power, the price paid for survival. Suddenly, the leader opened their eyes and looked at the alien with a strange mix of pain and strength. Their voice was soft but steady as they spoke words the alien barely understood, but felt deeply. It was a story of sacrifice and hope, of a power born from fear and love a power that could save, but also destroy. The leader's words painted a picture of a long struggle, a fight, not just against enemies, but against the darkness inside themselves. The alien listened closely, realizing this was the heart of the human story. The dark power was not just a weapon, it was a part of their being, a force that demanded respect and caution. The leader spoke of battles lost, and one of friends and family lost to the hunger of the power, but also of the hope that kept them fighting. That hope was a light in the darkness, a promise that no matter how deep the shadow grew, the human spirit would never be broken. As the leader spoke, the alien looked around and saw other humans gathering quietly nearby. Their faces showed similar stories, marked by pain and determination. Each carried the weight of the dark power in their own way, some with fear, others with pride, but all with a shared purpose to protect their home, their people, and the future they dreamed of. The alien felt a deep connection growing between them, a bond of understanding born from shared struggle. The night deepened, and the alien sat with the humans, listening to their stories, learning about their fears, their dreams, and their fight for survival. The dark power was a force that shaped their lives, a constant companion in their journey through pain and hope. The alien realized that to truly understand humanity, it must see beyond the battles and the power to the heart beating strong beneath it all. Suddenly, a distant sound broke the quiet, a low rumble that shook the earth and echoed through the ruins. The humans tensed, ready for another fight. But this time the alien saw something different. The leader stood slowly and looked toward the horizon, eyes shining with new resolve. The dark power flickered once more, but this time it felt less like a curse and more like a promise, a tool to be wielded with care and strength. The alien felt hope stirring within its own heart. Watching humans carry their burden with courage and grace was a lesson in resilience and faith. The dark power was dangerous, but it was also a symbol of their unyielding spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light could be found if one was willing to fight for it. As the first light of dawn touched the sky, the alien rose and prepared to leave. The journey had changed the alien in ways it could not yet fully understand. The story of humanity was one of pain and power, of darkness and light intertwined in a dance as old as time. The alien knew it would carry this story with it wherever it went, a story of survival and hope written in the darkest power and brightest courage of a people unlike any other. With one last look at the humans rising to face a new day, the alien stepped into the shadows, ready to follow wherever this path would lead, ready to see the future shaped by the day it saw humanity's darkest power up close. The sky was heavy with dark clouds, and the wind carried a chill that cut through the air. The alien watched from a hidden place as humans moved with silent urgency. Their faces were tense, but their eyes held a strange light, a light that spoke of hope even in the shadow of despair. The battles had taken their toll, but something was changing, something deep inside the human spirit that the alien had not yet fully understood. The alien followed a small group, moving toward an ancient hill on the outskirts of the city. The ground beneath was cracked and worn by time, but the humans climbed steadily, as if drawn by an unseen force. At the top, they gathered around a stone circle, weathered and covered with strange markings. The air buzzed with energy, and the alien could feel the pulse of power rising from the earth itself. One human stepped forward, a woman with fierce eyes and steady hands. She raised her voice in a chant, a song of old words passed down through generations. The sound was low and steady, but it grew stronger with every breath. The alien watched as the shadows around the circle began to stir, swirling and twisting like living smoke. They danced in the air, forming shapes that were both beautiful and frightening. The power that flowed from humans was unlike anything the alien had seen before. It was raw and wild, but also filled with purpose and control. The earth trembled under their feet, and the sky seemed to listen to their call. The alien felt a surge of awe mixed with fear as the dark energy spread out like a shield, protecting the group from the dangers lurking beyond. Suddenly the enemy appeared, cutting through the trees with speed and fury. Their weapons fired beams of harsh light, tearing through the air. The humans did not falter. Instead, they stood firm, raising their hands and calling forth the dark power. The shadows answered like loyal guardians, striking back with force that shook the ground. The battle erupted once again, fierce and chaotic, but now the humans fought with a new strength, a strength born from unity and ancient will. The alien watched as the woman led her people with fierce determination. Her voice rose above the clash of weapons, a beacon guiding the humans through the storm. The dark power she wielded was like a living thing, wild and beautiful, but also dangerous. The alien saw her struggle to keep control as the energy pulsed wildly, threatening to consume everything, yet she held on, refusing to give in to the darkness within. The enemy pushed harder, desperate to break through the defenses, but the humans responded with a power that seemed endless. Their shadows grew larger, wrapping around the battlefield like a living net, trapping the enemy and turning their own fury against them. The alien felt the earth shake with every strike and heard the cries of warriors fighting for their lives and dreams. Amidst the chaos, the alien noticed moments of hope, small acts of kindness and courage that shone brightly. The humans helped each other, tended wounds, and shared words of comfort. Even as the war raged around them, it was a reminder that despite the darkness, the light within the human heart could never be fully extinguished. The alien felt a deep respect for these warriors, who carried both darkness and light inside them. As the battle reached its peak, the woman raised her hands higher, and a wave of dark energy burst forth, sweeping across the enemy lines. The force was overwhelming, pushing back the attackers and shattering their weapons. But the power came at a cost. The woman staggered, her body trembling and her eyes closed, as if fighting an invisible battle within. The alien sensed the heavy price of wielding such darkness, the thin line between control and destruction. The enemy retreated, leaving the humans standing victorious, but weary. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the soft breathing of the wounded and the whispered prayers of the survivors. The alien approached the woman, who now sat on the ground surrounded by her people. Her face was pale, but her eyes still held that fierce light, a light that spoke of hope and unbroken will. The alien reached out a hand, feeling the pulse of the dark power lingering beneath the woman's skin. It was a force both beautiful and terrible, a symbol of humanity's strength and vulnerability. The alien understood that this power was a gift and a curse, a source of salvation and destruction, and that the true battle was far from over. As dawn broke, the sky brightened, revealing the scars of the night's fight. The alien looked out over the city and the land beyond. Knowing this was a turning point, a moment when the darkest power of humanity showed its true face, and the light that still burned within. The story of survival, hope, and sacrifice was written in every shadow and every flame, ready to unfold in the days to come. With a final look at the brave humans rising to meet a new day, the alien stepped back into the shadows, prepared to follow the path ahead, eager to witness the future shaped by courage and the dark power that made humanity unique. Ask ChatGPT. The battle's last echoes faded into the cold night air, but the world still trembled with the weight of what had happened. The alien stood quietly watching the aftermath, the broken earth, the scattered weapons, and the tired but unbroken humans. Their faces were etched with pain and relief, but above all with a fierce light, a light born from survival and sacrifice. The moment had come, the moment the alien would see humanity's true face in all its darkness and its hope. The humans gathered in the ruins of a once proud city, now scarred by war, but alive with the spirit of those who refused to surrender. Among them stood the leader, the one who had carried the dark power through the fiercest battles. Their body bore the marks of the struggle, scars both seen and unseen, but their eyes shone with a fire that no wound could dim. The alien felt a deep respect mixed with a heavy sorrow for the burden the leader carried. Suddenly, a soft wind stirred the dust around them, and the leader raised a hand, calling the others to silence. The night seemed to listen as the leader spoke words not just of war, but of future and hope. Their voice was steady, carrying the weight of pain, but also the promise of a new beginning. The alien could feel the power behind the words, the power of a people who had faced the darkest shadows and chosen to fight for the light. As the leader spoke, the alien looked closer and saw something unexpected. The dark power that had been a raging storm now seemed tempered, like a fire, carefully tended not to burn everything in its path. The humans around the leader reached out and touched the dark energy with reverence, not fear. It was no longer just a weapon, but a part of who they were, a force that shaped their past and their future. The alien's mind raced, trying to understand the true nature of this power. It was both gift and curse, a source of destruction and creation a burden, and a blessing. The leader's words told of lessons learned through pain, of mistakes made, and the hope for balance to be found between light and dark. The alien realized that this was the story of humanity, a story of struggle, not just against enemies, but against the darkness inside themselves. Suddenly the silence was broken by a distant sound, a signal carried on the wind, a call that was both warning and invitation. The humans looked toward the horizon, eyes sharp and ready. The alien felt a surge of anticipation, knowing that this was not the end, but a new beginning, a future shaped by courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding will to survive. The leader turned to the alien and spoke directly in a voice that was both gentle and strong. They welcomed the alien not as a stranger, but as a witness to their story, a story of darkness and light, pain and hope, and the power that made them human. The alien felt a deep connection in that moment, a bond that crossed worlds and species, a bond forged in the fire of shared struggle. As dawn broke, painting the sky with colors of gold and crimson, the alien looked out over the land, and the humans rising to face the new day. The scars of battle were still there, but so was the promise of healing and growth. The alien knew that it had seen something rare and precious, a truth about humanity's darkest power and its brightest hope. The wind carried the voices of the humans, their songs of remembrance and courage blending with the rising sun. It was a song that spoke of endings and beginnings, of loss and love, of fear faced and conquered. The alien felt that this song would echo across the stars, carrying the story of Earth and its people to distant worlds and future generations. With one last look at the leader and the brave humans around them, the alien stepped back into the shadows, ready to carry their story beyond the stars, ready to tell of the day it saw humanity's darkest power up close and the light that would never be extinguished.